Welcome, everyone. This is episode 2 of the EEP's report. Like I said, I wanted to make this a little bit more often, so here it goes, the second one. Today's, I'm just going to go over some email from last week. It's the epigram, so I'm just going to run through really quickly, just in case you didn't have a chance to swift through it in your busy schedules. So let's jump right into it. First off, it's the Design and Honor Awards, the 2020 call for entries. Some dates to remember there. It's going to be March 5th, which is the date that you must turn in your fees. Final submissions are due on April 12th, and the winners will be announced in May. I know last year was kind of crazy, but at least for my personal experience, quite busy with a lot of residential projects. I think that has to do with people working from home, needing new spaces, moving from up north, etc., etc. But anyways, we'll move on to the next topic, down to a little bit more to the bottom. The next topic is the COTS course for practice management, and actually for everything else. We kind of talked about this on the previous episode, and I mentioned that all the COTS courses are ready, and I wanted to kind of highlight the next Architect Spotlight, that we would want more entries and more stories that we want to submit so we can share what's happening out there. A shout out there to SAFD Architects, which they are committed to supporting Architects Foundation for Diversity and Advancement Scholarships. They are funding a 5-year student scholar entering or transferring into an architectural program in the fall of 2021. So that's pretty big news. So if you know anybody, just make sure that they apply, spread the word. The application is the best thing you can do. Of course, we can learn more by clicking there. You share this email with them and see what that's all about. Of course, the idea is not to get into the weeds of this. It's just a quick overview of the epigram. The AIA National Associates Committee, or NAC, the Emerging Professional Survey results. Of course, if you want to know a little bit more about that, go ahead and click right there on that email. As a reminder, this email went out on February 10th. So if you haven't seen it, go through your emails, either type up epigram or go through your February 10th date and look for this email. The next thing, the next topic there, it's the top 10 architect podcasts you must follow in 2021. I don't know about must follow, but I strongly recommend following at least a few of those, and we'll be getting into that a little bit. That's one that I do want to get into the weeds a little bit, just to highlight some of the names that are out there. The new edition of Florida Caribbean Architect magazine went out, so I recommend looking through those just to see some of the projects and spotlights and highlights that we want to share with the community as a whole. And I strongly recommend doing that. They're always looking for entries on topics that people are wanting to share with each other. So if you have something you want to say of a particular topic, particular issue, or something you just want to share, submit something. We'll have it in there, and hopefully we will publish it at some later publication date for whatever topic. So if you have something to say, please write something up and share it. We're always looking for content on that. The next thing, it's the Architects Institute President Outlines New Design Trends. So this is the chapter of Puerto Rico. They, of course, always dealing with the hurricane and still dealing with the aftermath of a few years ago. And then you throw on top of that COVID 2019, there must be a pretty tough situation down there. Of course, if you would like to read more and be a little bit more aware of what's happening there, go to that email and click the read more. Is the more free resources from AIA. You have a few clicks on there. You have your always typical 18 months of free membership and other information there that you can click and read through. And of course, a new thing that we're trying out is the resume pool. It is a Florida Career Resource webpage, and this is something that it's a bit kind of tricky on sort of the back of the house on how to properly do this, but it is very nice that we're at least keeping up resumes for at least 60 days within the website. So if you have somebody who's just graduating, who's about to graduate, I do recommend sharing this tool to them, because some people may not have the connection that they need, and this would be a great way to give them an in into opportunities that may not present themselves otherwise, as well as architects. We're also kind of looking for ways to help each other, help those who do not have connections, and so um, companies are also encouraged to search through the resume pool to try to look for those talent that may not have the connections that they need in order to move ahead. Once again, top 10 architecture podcasts you must follow in 2021. As I mentioned before, I'm kind of iffy with the must follow aspect to it, but I strongly recommend at least giving a listen or seeing what kind of topics they have within some of these resources. So you have the architecture podcast lists, and here we go. I'm just gonna name them just fairly quickly. Enter Architect Podcast with Mark R. LePage. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Then we have the Young Architect Podcast. That is our friend Michael Risica. I know him personally. He's a pretty good guy. He wants to help and assist other people, assist young architects in the process of becoming licensed. He's been one of the loudest voices calling out NCARB. If you hear that, that's my little dog out there kind of barking himself out there. So anyhow, we'll continue with the list. Life of an Architect. That's the next podcast. Business of Architecture podcast. That is something that is very, very important for us. At the end of the day, most of us are trying to run an architecture business, and that will probably give insights. ArchiSpeak, the Architecture Happy Hour. Just going to run through some of these. U.S. Modernist Radio, Architecture You Love. KCRW, Design and Architecture Podcast. That's from Los Angeles. Architecture Masters and Architecture Talk. Personally, I have not been listening to any one of these, but I will start to search them out a little bit more and seeing some of the topics. On that note, I do want to say that one of our associate directors, Jocelyn, she was featured at one of the episodes of Young Architect Podcast, so big shout out to her. Well, thank you for your time once again. Hopefully this was nice and short and sweet and you got something out of it. On that note, I do want to remind everyone of the Associate Directors Virtual Summit that is coming up. And on that note, because most of us haven't met each other or seen each other, and right now this seems to be a one-way communication. So I would ask that each one of you submit a short video, okay? Or if you don't want to be on camera, I suggest you submit a short audio file to me, and between 1 minute and 1 minute and 30 seconds, okay? So minimum 1 minute, maximum 1 minute and 30 seconds. We want to know your name, the chapter that you represent, some of the things that you're interested in. It's sort of an open introduction, something that you would like us to know about you within that short period of time, so we can kind of introduce each other a little bit prior to the summit. And so I do want to make everyone comfortable, and see if you're not comfortable in front of a camera, then hopefully just a picture, your voice, and I will try to edit it in the next couple of weeks. So I do recommend you doing that, and we'll add links down to the bottom to some of the podcasts, and we'll give each other about 2 weeks for that video introduction, video, audio, whatever you decide. Once again, thank you. Have a great day.